Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Robert Yenji, a developer, cloud engineer, and a cybersecurity specialist. In today's video, we are diving into the world of identity and access management. We'll be exploring three essential components: Entra Tenant, Entra ID, and Azure Active Directory Business to Consumer. Throughout this video, I'll walk you through the process of creating an Entra Tenant, setting up Entra ID, and configuring Azure AD B2C. By the end of it, you'll have a solid understanding of how these identity services work and how to leverage them to secure your applications and platforms in Azure. Let's get started. First things first, let's understand what an Entra Tenant is. An Entra Tenant serves as the organizational and administrative boundary in Azure. It's like your own little corner of the Azure cloud where you manage your resources and users. Now imagine having your own secure data center within the vast Azure cloud infrastructure. That is precisely what an Entra Tenant is. It acts as your central hub holding all your Azure resources, subscriptions, and user accounts associated with your organization. In short, an Entra Tenant is an instance on Azure that represents your organization. When you first sign up for Azure, a default type of tenant is automatically created for you. Whilst the default tenant gets you started, you can actually create additional tenants within your Azure subscription if needed. This might be useful for managing separate environment for different purposes, like development and production, or for isolating resources used by different departments within the organization. When you log into your Azure account, if you don't already have an account, I'll leave a link to sign up in the description below. You search for Microsoft Entra ID. In my case, I already have it here. But if you are not seeing it, you can easily search for Microsoft Entra or just enter Entra ID. You see it popping up, then you click on it. So this is my default directory or my default tenant that has been created for me. So when I come to my tenant, I will be able to see a preview of my tenant. So here I have my tenant name, which is the default directory, my tenant ID, my primary domain, my license, which is my Microsoft Entra ID free, then the number of users I have in this particular tenant. So on this particular blade, you'll be able to see all the provisions that has been made for your tenant, your users, your groups, your identities, your roles and administrators, and so on. Now, our focus is creating another tenant. So to create a tenant, click on Manage Tenants. On Manage Tenants, we click on Create. Now we'll be asked to choose the type of tenant we want to create. Microsoft Entra ID is an identity and access management service focused on your internal users, like your employees, contractors, or partners. It ensures only authorized individuals can access your internal application and resources. Now, what are some of the key features of Microsoft Entra ID? Users can access multiple applications with just one login. It adds an extra layer of security by requiring a second verification step beyond a password. Easily create, manage, and deactivate user accounts as needed. Granular control over access based on user attributes, device security, and more. Integrate with your Microsoft services like Office 365 and Dynamic 365. Now let's understand what Azure Active Directory Business to Consumer means. Think of it as a friendly concierge at your organization's front door, managing identities for your external users like customers, consumers, or guests. What are some of the key features of Azure Active Directory business to consumer? Your customers can sign up, sign in, and manage their profiles independently. Azure AD B2C integrates with popular social media platforms like Facebook and Google. This allows users to sign in using their existing social media credentials, eliminating the need to create new accounts for your specific application. Azure AD B2C also lets you customize the sign up, sign in, and profile management experience to match your company's branding. While it doesn't offer full-blown access control features of Entra ID, it allows you to grant specific permissions to these applications. This ensures your customers can access the resources they need while keeping your internal resources and systems secure. In summary, Entra ID and Azure AD B2C both offer unique strength tailored to different user types and use cases. Entra ID caters to internal users such as your employees and partners, while Azure AD B2C is tailored for external users like your customers and guests. Both platforms excel in managing user identities and access, but Entra ID focuses on internal users, whereas Azure AD B2C specializes in external user management. Entra ID offers robust features like single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, user provisioning, and conditional access, while Azure AD B2C provides self-service sign-in and sign-up, social media login, and password reset functionalities. When it comes to integration, Entra ID integrates seamlessly with Microsoft services like Office 365 and Dynamics 365, while Azure AD B2C integrates smoothly with web and mobile apps. So you need to evaluate your business needs carefully to choose the right identity management solution for your business. Now let's get back to the demo. Now that we understand the difference between both tenants, we can now choose the type of tenant we want to create. You can see that we can't choose Microsoft Entra ID because we need a paid Microsoft license, workforce license. Note that anytime we sign up for an Azure account, a default Entra ID tenant is created for us. So if you don't necessarily need to create extra Entra tenants, you don't have to create that, unless it's specifically necessary for your organization to have multiple Entra tenants in your account. So in our case, we can choose Azure AD B2C for the demo. And then we'll click on configuration. Here, you need to choose the name for your organization. So I'm going to call my organization Cloud Limited. Then I will choose a domain. Your account will need an initialized domain. So let me see if this is available. We can see this is not available. So let me add just a number to it and see whether that is available. That is available. Now we also need to choose our location. Now the location you choose will show where your data is going to be stored. So in my case, I'm going to leave my in US. Then we scroll down and choose the subscription you want your account to be, your tenant to be created on. In my case, I have only one subscription, so I'll just leave it like that. Then you choose a resource group. So I don't have a resource group yet, so I'll just click ahead and just say web apps. I'll create one for the demo, and then I'll leave my resource group location as it is. Then I'll click on next review, and then I'll click on if everything is right for me, I'll click on create. Now we wait for the tenant to be created. Let's see if our tenant is created successfully. So I'll come back and click on Entra ID, and then I'll click on Manage Tenants. We can see from the blade here that our tenant has been created successfully. If you want to work in that specific tenant you just created, just choose it and click on Switch. So from here, you can start working in this particular tenant. So say I want to add apps, registrations. I'll just come here and click on new, and then I can add an app. We'll do separate videos for this. Then you can add identity providers. You can see all the identity providers here. You can see Twitter, we can see Apple, we can see Facebook. Your API connectors, your company branding, your user attributes, and so on. So that is how you create your tenant. So now that we are done creating a tenant, so I will go ahead and delete the tenant. So how do you go about it when you want to delete a tenant? So I'll come back to my manage tenants, and then I'll choose the tenant I want to delete. Then I'll click on delete at the top. Microsoft is going to check to see if I have some apps or some services running in the background. So in my case, I have an app registration in the background. So I'll click on delete all app registrations. And I'll come to all apps. So here I can see that I have an app in the background running. So I'm going to delete this. Click on it. And then at the top, you click on delete. And then you confirm your delete. So now that that is deleted, let me go back to my tenant and see and check again. So come back again, delete. Now I have an Azure subscription in the background. So I need permissions for that one. So I'll click on get permissions to delete subscription. Then I will scroll down and check this to yes. Then I'll click on save. Now I can see that everything is checked. So you can just click on delete. And now your tenant is deleted. Sometimes take a few minutes to be deleted. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay updated. In the meantime, if you have any questions about Entra Tenant, Entra ID, and Azure Active Directory Business to Consumers, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to help. See you next time.